Good day. Welcome to Imus Computer College. I'm Mrs. Mary Jane D. Loyola, and I'm going to be your instructress in digital system. In our subject, what you are expecting on this subject this semester? So in this subject, it covers the outcomes required in installing and configuring desktop and workstation computer systems. It consists of competencies to assemble computer hardware, install operating system and drivers for peripheral devices, and install application software, as well as to conduct testing and documentation. Here are the learning content for this subject. Number 1, assemble computer hardware. Number 2, prepare installer. Number 3, install operating system and drivers for peripherals. Number 4, install application software. And then number 5 is conduct testing and documentation. So, are you ready, guys? Ayan, as you can see, I'm going to wide screen. As you can see on your screen, I'm going to show up our course outline for our subject. So, on prelim, to be expect, first meeting is today. Topic 1, hardware troubleshooting. We're going to talk about all of that information, troubleshooting methodology, troubleshooting steps, tools and equipment, troubleshooting technique, factors can endanger your PC health, steps to successful troubleshooting, and after this, we're going to have an activity. It is for the quiz number 1. And as for the continuation for the second meeting, the topic 2 is understanding how components fail, how integrated circuit fail, how disk drive fail, how display fails, repair generated failures, recommended safety precautions, and same as with first meeting, we're going to have another activity. Activity number 2 is quiz number 2. And for the continuation on the third meeting, our topic will be the kinds of troubleshooting techniques. We're going to talk about the service checks, no power, self-test error code, beep indicators, input device, stop keys, no power blackout keyboard, producing different character, major physical keyboard defects, mouse not working, jumping cursor, mouse not found, and another one, we're going to have an activity for the quiz number 3. As to continue, for the fourth meeting, we're going to talk about the output device. So, in related topics here, we have display problems, no display or blackout, no display with long continuous beep, changing color display, sparkling connection or whistling monitor, central processing unit problems, no power or blackout CPU, no continuous beep, short beeps upon startup, continuous long beep upon startup, hanging unit, file allocation table bud, whistling sparkling plug connection, whistling sparkling switch, major CPU parts defect. And for the fifth meeting, we have an activity on this. We're going to have a long test coverage from topic 1 to topic 4. So be ready. So you're going to review our topic from topic 1 to topic 4. And after that, we're going to have the actual demonstration in related to hardware troubleshooting. So for the midterm, as you can see, same as with our prelim, we have the pattern or guide on how we're going to so ready for this semester. And for midterm, we have third meeting, continuation for the fourth meeting, up to the finals. As you can see, to be expect on finals, we're more on actual presentation or demonstration of your performance. On the first meeting, we're going to have the actual demonstration, how to perform this imaging, and another activity, actual demonstration again, for performing basic troubleshooting about VSOD and testing hard disk performance. So guys, be ready on this. As you can see, that's all the activities that we're going to prepare on. That's why this is the start for the semester, and as you can see, we are totally prepared for the whole semesters of this subject. Okay? Okay, class, are you ready to our first topic? If yes, now let's proceed to our first topic. So our first topic, what is hardware troubleshooting? So any idea, guys? If you don't have, hardware troubleshooting, it is the process of reviewing, diagnosing, and identifying operational or technical problems within a hardware device or equipment. It aims to resolve physical and or logical problems and issues within a computing hardware. Meaning guys, on this part, on hardware troubleshooting, since it is one of our major concerns for this subject, I'm expecting also, right now, you have a lot of knowledge or information, especially on the parts of computer. As you can see, medyo malabo lang madilim. But I'm expecting as your teacher on the previous semesters that you have a lot of knowledge, especially the parts of computer, because that is one of the requirements on this. For you to be able to analyze a certain problem on a certain computer. Again, for easiest understanding, in hardware troubleshooting, in easiest terminology, in this aspect, we're going to find or look for the specified areas on where the problem could be started. Okay? So, that's it. To continue, so we have the steps on troubleshooting a hardware. So, letter A, we're going to analyze or determine the problem. That is one of the most important things. Of course, we could not be able to analyze a certain or we're not going to look for a certain problems if we are not analyzing where the problem could start on. That's why the first thing to do or the first step to do is we need to analyze on a certain parts of computer. Like I've said a while ago, the most important thing here is I'm expecting also that you have a lot of knowledge or background, especially on the parts of computer. After the first step, after you analyze or after you determine the problem, let's proceed to the test. So on the test procedure, we're going to attempt to isolate the problem. Once we analyze where the problems could be, the certain maybe example on the hard disk, yan, on the hard disk, this one is the hard disk. If the problem could be started here, we're going to isolate it. So what we're going to do, maybe we could remove the connectors connected for the hard disk, the power connectors, yan, etc. and etc. After that, after we test or to isolate a certain problem, we're going to correct attempt. We're going to perform a certain attempt if it is the possible, if it is also the possible problem. Okay? After that, repeat it over and over. But if you are not totally sure or ready to isolate a certain problem, call for help if needed. One reminder is coming from me, if you're not totally ready, so don't hesitate to call for someone or ask someone to help for you. Because instead to fix a certain problem, maybe if you're trying hard to push it, to fix it on your own, since you're not totally ready, it will become a big problem for you soon. If you're not if you're not, what do you call this, testing a certain point of device that we're going to analyze on. So, after that, clean up your mess and document the results. Okay, guys, again, the steps on troubleshooting is first, we're going to analyze or determine the problem. Letter B is to test, attempt to isolate the problem. Letter C is we need to complete. Take a correction attempt, test, repeat, and in connection with that, if you're not totally familiar with the troubleshooting process, don't be shy. Call for help if need. And after that, clean up your mess and document the results. Okay? So, again, in fixing a certain problem of a computer, of course, we need a certain tools and equipment to fix it. As you can see on your screen, we have a certain tools and equipment that you needed. Here they are, the screwdrivers, flat and Philip, eraser, tweezer, anti-static straw, pliers, long nose, alloy wrench, and star screw. Okay? But most basically, you need this one. You need this screwdriver. Okay, let's proceed to the techniques. The techniques in troubleshooting. But before we proceed to the techniques, let's going to analyze what is fault. Okay? A fault is a physical condition that causes incorrect output when a circuit is exercised to perform a function. So faults can be classified into two, which is the static or dynamic. Guys, let's going to analyze first what is fault. Meaning guys, once we say a fault, it is a certain problem related to a physical components of a computer, wherein it is categorized by two, which is the static and dynamic. The static failures, it is include the stuck at problems associated with an open and short data paths in the circuitry. These failures are typically catastrophic faults, include wrong component installed on a board, an improperly installed component, a missing component, and dead or partially dead devices. Guys, for easiest understanding what is static failures, try to put it into your mind that these failures could be the possible problem would be related on a certain mechanical parts of a certain computer. Mechanical parts, put that into your mind. Maybe, if we're going to return the information on fault, physical condition that causes incorrect output, meaning physical, the physical appearance of a certain parts of computer. The static failure could be the possible problem related on that would be the physical, mechanical construction or structure of a physical device or the physical part. Maybe the hard disk. The example is hard disk. Okay. Another one is dynamic. Dynamic failures include time-dependent errors such as loss of signal quality, causing a circuit output ready to reach steady state, too late to be properly used. Another part of the system. The symptoms of dynamic faults include devices operating too slow. Component dynamic failures are more difficult to find than the static catastrophic faults. As noted, guys, difficult to find because on the dynamic failures, it is the failures or faults on the computer, meaning ito po yung pabago-bago. It's so hard for us to identify where is the actual location of a certain problem of computer. Maybe the first procedure, the first process that we analyzed may be on the hard disk. After we try a certain procedures, we concluded also that, oh, we fixed a problem related on the hard disk. But after several try, we've noticed na hindi naman po pala doon yung problem. So, on dynamic failures, same fault or failures pa rin na may kinalaman po sa physical conditions po ng devices. Kasi sometimes, nagkakaroon po ng problema din yan through the manufacturer. So, yun po. Pero on these conditions, hopefully, madali natin siyang ma-identify and sooner or later, maging expert na tayo in terms doon sa technique na pag-analyze ng mga faults ng computer. Okay, the two term is the static failures and the dynamic failures. For easiest understanding, to summarize again, the static failures, it is the common failures normally may kinalaman po sa mga mechanical parts or areas ng device natin. While the dynamic failures, it is the failures commonly. Same as with din naman po, yun nga lang po, normally pabago-bago, hindi po consistent yung nagiging error po niya. Okay? But as an overall, it is the physical condition that causes incorrect output. Kaya nga, minsan manonotice natin sa static failure. Once we inserted a certain file, let's say, nag-install po tayo ng, what do you call this, the expansion cards on the slot on the board. Alam natin na properly naman siya, properly natin na-install. Pero after all, may magdi-display pa rin siyang something error or something like that. While the dynamic failures naman medyo hard yung output niya kasi we know na na-install naman natin siya ng tama pero ang nagiging output niya magte-tend to slow our computer. Okay? So, one more thing. So, a few factors can endanger your PC health. Another problem in troubleshooting procedure, these are the factors that we're going to analyze to maintain the health of our computer. Like us as a human, to maintain our body, to become healthy, we need to take a certain vitamins for us to become healthy. But on a certain computers, there's a lot of activities or what we call these problems that can endanger the PC health, of course. So number one on that is excessive heat, followed by dust, magnetism, electromagnetism, power surges, incorrect line, voltage, and power outages, water and corrosive agents. So let's analyze what are the different factors can endanger our PC health. So ayan, as you can see, excessive heat on the example, picture, manonotice po natin dito, the overheating or the excessive heat is possible coming from the heatsink. Ano nga po ba yung heatsink or what is heatsink? Heatsink is a small piece of metal, usually aluminum with fins on it. The heatsink is glue or clamped to the hot chip. As box design or organized as dead pans, the common cause or problem for this would be the thermal shock comes from subjecting components to rapid large changes in temperature. Normally kasi nangyayari po yung excessive heat natin kapag overdose din po ang computer. Kasi of course, like a human, napapagod din naman po sila. Kaya wag po natin hayaan na hindi naman po natin siya ginagamit and then eto, naka-open lang, tas we are not doing anything on it. So if we are not planning to do anything on the computer, so let's shut it down para naman at least ma-rest po siya or mapahinga po siya. Okay? Kaya yung excessive heat po can endanger our PC health. Okay? So another one, of course, yung dust. Dust meaning Tagalog is alikabok. Yan. Of course, habang bukas po ang computer natin, it attracts ng mga alikabok po. So, dapat po, i-maintain po natin yan. Nilinisin po natin yan. Gamit po tayo ng mga brush. And ito po, paintbrush will be allowed kung wala po tayong mga vacuums. So, makikita nyo naman dyan sa picture. Sobra ng, ang dami ng pinagdaanan. Parang ang dami ng pinagdaanan ng computer. Kaya, so, as a PC maintenance or sa computer maintenance or as a PC doctor, isa po yan sa mga dapat natin i-monitor sa computer natin or sa system natin. So, you can see. So, yan, brush po. Pwede natin siyang para mawala po yung mga alikabok. Okay? Kasi big factor din po yan para makasira po sa ating computer. Okay? Next, another one, magnetism. So, magnetism, ano po ba ibig sabihin ng magnetism? Nakakita na po ba tayo ng magnet? Of course. Very easy to understand kung makikita nyo po yung picture. Diba? Sa picture na makikita nyo, there's a certain device on that na yung nails, nakadikit po siya doon or yung pako. So, ang magnetism po, malaking factor din po yan para makasira sa ating computer. That's true. Kasi po, di ba nga po, meron tayo sa previous lessons natin when you are in first year na hindi po tayo allowed na wag po tayong gagamit ng mga screwdriver. Screwdriver not magnetic. Yun po yung nakalagay dun sa notes natin. Kasi pwede po silang makasira ng computer. Kasi meron po silang malakas na condition na pwedeng kapag pinakit natin to a certain parts of it is pwede po silang magkaroon ng corrosion. So, yun po yung iniiwasan natin dyan. Okay? Another one is the stray electromagnetism. So, medyo related din po siya sa magnetism. This one nga lang is radiated electromagnetic interference. Kumbaga, related na naman po dito yung mga EMI na tinatawag natin. The EMI is electromagnetic interference. Ano po ba yung electromagnetic interference? Normally, nangyayari po yan kapag yung dalawang wires ay napagdikit natin, lalo na kapag yung isa doon is open wire. So, yun yung yun yung isa sa parang magiging possible problem natin. Iwasan po natin yun. And yun, yung mga radio interference, alam naman natin yan eh. Interference is everywhere. Kaya tayo as a PC doctor, maging conscious lang po tayo on that part. Of course, yung cellphone or yung signal radiation. Kaya nga hindi po advisable na if you have your cellphone, yan, wag po natin siyang ilalagay malapit doon sa ating mga computers. Diba nga po, na-experience natin, if you are watching a television and then nag-charge tayo ng ating mga phones or gadgets malapit din sa ating mga televisions, so meron po siyang effect, lalo na kapag yung parang may mag-text po sa atin, meron po siyang after effects. So, yun po yung ating stray electromagnetism. And also, yung ESD. Okay, yung ESD po kasi, ito po yung electrostatic discharge na nangyagaling po sa katawan ng tao. Okay, tayo po kasi as a human, ang energy po na meron tayo is the static. That's why, ito po yung iniiwasan natin. That's why, every time po na maghahawak or gagalaw po tayo ng any parts, mag-assemble tayo dyan, may troubleshoot or anything, we are advising to use any anti-static device. Let's say yung gloves, wristband, gumamit tayo ng mga mat, spray, yan. Kasi para maiwasan po. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan nga po natin ngayon, ito yung mga factors na pwedeng makasira or maka-distract sa computer natin. Okay? Ayan, next is power surges or yung tinatawag na incorrect line voltage and power outages. Makikita nyo naman, di ba, sa picture, ayun, sobra yung effect niya. So, talagang pwede pala siya magkaroon ng cause ng pagkasunog, which is true. Kasi, kapag nagkaroon ng over voltage at pati yung nagkaroon tayo ng under voltage, hindi po okay both yan. Over voltage, yan po yung bigla pagpasok ng kuryente. Yung under voltage naman, yung mahina lang yung kuryente, tapos syempre yung computer natin, marami siyang needed na ng enough electricity para i-power on niya yung computer natin. Okay? Aside from that, yung no voltage at all, a power blackout, yung mga transients or yung mga spikes and surges. Normally, nangyayari yan kapag yung, sa weather natin ngayon, yung pakidlat-kidlat, biglang nawala yung kuryente, tapos biglang magkakaroon ulit. So, yun. User. Yun. Induced power up surges. Okay? So, and then, one more thing, yung transient na tinatawag. Yung transient naman, medyo related dito ng a little bit sa power surges natin. Is any brief changes or change in power that doesn't repeat itself. It can be under voltage or over voltage. Ang transient, ito yung short life, something that always changes and moves around and not lasting. Enduring or permanent is transient. So, yun po. Yung mga parang spikes din po yan eh. Yan yung mga parang biglang pag-spikes through the power. Okay? So, next is we're going to proceed to steps to successful troubleshooting. So, effective and efficient troubleshooting requires gathering clues and applying deductive reasoning to isolate the problems. Once you know the cause of the problem, you can follow process of analyzing, testing, substituting the failed parts. When something functionally goes wrong in the computer, the first step is to determine whether the trouble results from an actual failure or from a loose connection or human error. To do this, you need to understand how the PC works and how it interacts with the other parts of the system. Okay? Once you've convinced a true component failure has occurred, the first step is to determine which functional section of the system is not operating. So, nandiyan yung disk drive, keyboard, display, or some other part. To do this, break each section into stages and trace the trouble to a circuit stage within the section. As you've seen on the figure, ayan, as a student, especially, I know and alam ko na on this moment, medyo knowledgeable na kayo sa mga basic parts ng computer natin. Hopefully, this diagram could help you to analyze or identify what the diagram's flow could want you to understand. So, dito, na-explain niya na ito po yung pinaka-process po kasi kung paano po ba gumagana yung computer natin. Nakikita niyo po dyan from the power, once na mayroong power from the outlet, so it goes down to the CPU, it turns na yung CPU natin. After, from the CPU, it is going down to the main memory. After that, transfer naman po yan doon sa ating secondary device. Yan po yung mga hard disk natin. After nun, pag na-boot niya na, yung mismong boot file natin, of course, kailangan niya mag-display ng output. Yan na po yung makaka-view na tayo sa monitor po natin. After that, once na parang may desktop na po tayo, yun, let's proceed na po yan na ready-made na po natin gamitin yung mga keyboard, yung mga speaker, and of course, yung clock. Yan, save na po niya, or kung ano man po yung mga gagawin natin dyan sa computer natin, ayan po, that's the flow of a computer. So, importante po na tandaan niyo po yan. Please take note of this flow. Maybe sooner or later on one of our activity, mapasama po siya sa ating quizzes. Okay? So, ito po, pinaka magandang tip. We have 8 tips to successful troubleshooting. Unang-una po dyan nakalagay, don't panic. Of course, that is the most important. Repairing a computer is not totally harmful. Always remember that. Wala pa naman po tayong incidents na itong field na napili po ninyo is very dangerous. Hindi naman po. Siguro medyo pag nag-ground ka, it's part. Kasi may kuryente eh. Yun. Pero wag sana yun yung maging 10 para hindi nyo i-push tong course ninyo. Kasi this subject naman at yung mga ginagawa natin dito is very relevant naman po talaga. Okay? Kaya sa pagto-troubleshoot, number 1 dyan is don't panic. Okay? Baka naman exage kayo. Hindi lang nag-turn on yung monitor. Ayan na, medyo hindi ka na comfortable. Medyo nag-i-exage ka na, nag-panic ka na. So, unang-una dyan, pag merong problem sa computer mo, don't panic. Relax lang, analyze mo siya. Okay? Mag-isip ka lang kung ano yung posibleng problema niya. Basta tandaan mo lang, i-recap mo lang yung mga previous topics na pinag-aralan natin. And then, yun, sooner or later, ma-analyze mo din yan. Okay? Next. Observe the conditions. Yan. Obserbahan mo muna, tulad na sabi ko kanina. Make a visual and operational check of everything that is active during normal operations of the function that is failing. Kumbaga, mag-visual check ka muna. Tingnan mo muna, baka naman hindi nakasaksak. Nag-exage ka, kanina nga, nagpanik ka na agad. Tapos nakita mo, ay, hindi na gumagana yung computer, yun naman pala, nahugot na sa saksakan. So, kailangan mag-visual check ka po muna. Kung ano yung parang before, gumagana naman po siya, tapos biglang hindi na gumana ulit. So, yun, i-analyze mo lang po siya. Next, number 3, look for misplaced or unconnected cables. Power and other switches, incorrectly set, bodies, look for anything that appears out of space. Yun. So, katulad po nung kanina, medyo may similar din po sila. Kailangan po muna natin sila visually check para malaman natin kung may mga misplaced na device or parts ng computer. Okay? Number 4, turn off the computer and clean all the edges connectors on the plug-in card. So, yun din po, medyo ano naman to, internally na naman po siya. Kapag parang ayaw pa rin talaga, so may knowledge and idea na naman po kayo kung paano tayo mag-release ng mga parts ng computer. Like for example, ito po, sa ating memory. Like for example, this one, sa ating memory ng computer natin. So, linisin lang po natin yung mga edges. Kung meron po tayo eraser, better po yun. Pero kung ano, pwede rin natin itong gamitin brush na to. So, yun. Kasi sometimes po, si memory normally yung lagi nagiging problem ng computer natin eh. Kapag naalog, nagalaw, yun yung mga common problem niya, na parang nagdudumi din po siya. Yung gold pins po na meron po sa kanya. Yan. Okay? So, linisin lang po natin yan. Okay po. Next, another one, close the system up and reboot. Yun. Check to see if the same failure occurs. If it is does, shift the symptom analysis. Kumbaga, na-check mo na, patayin mo yung computer, i-reboot mo siya or i-restart mo siya. Tapos kapag na-analyze mo na, same failures pa rin po pala yung nangyari. Yan. Try to shift, mag-isip ka ulit ng ibang procedure or way para ma-analyze mo kung ano talaga yung problema. Okay? Next, number 6, symptoms analysis. Yan. Use your senses. Guys, use your senses. Actually, ako, lagi ko sinasabi sa mga students, alam nyo guys, ang pinaka number 1 mottos natin dito sa technician talaga, lagi natin paganahin yung common sense natin. And one more thing na lagi ko pinapaalala sa mga estudyante, read first before you proceed. That is the foundation for you to be able to do the task properly. Kasi kung hindi po tayo magbabasa, basta lang po tayo nag-react doon sa certain problem, hindi po natin siya mag-fix ng maayos. And one more thing, naka-specify po dito, parang common sense po yan. Yung mga problema ng computer, analyze po natin. Lagi po natin papaganahin yung common sense natin. Kasi kunwari, power, yung problema, walang power, walang display. So, syempre, i-check natin, nakasaksak ba yan? Bago ka, kumbaga parang sa tao yan eh. Ang tao, sinipon lang, inubo lang. Tapos, ang ginawa, inoperahan na. Diba? Parang ganun sa computer. Yung computer pala, parang sinisipon lang, inuubo lang, tapos ang gagawin mo, babakasin mo na lahat, i-unmount mo na lahat. So, yun. Basically, use your senses kung ano yung possible problem niya para sa ganun, ma-fix natin siya ng maayos at hindi siya magkaroon ng major problem. Okay? Carefully evaluate the problem to determine what area of the system is failing. Then, number 7, diagnose to a section. So, yun, yung fault identification. Importante na ma-analyze natin kung saan po nagsisimula yung pinaka-fault niya. Next, localize to a stage or yung fault localization nga. Normally, you would have found the problem by now. So, yun. Ibig sabihin, sa steps number 8, medyo sa dami mo ba namang ginawa, parang imposible naman na wala ka man lang na trace na possible problem ng computer. Diba? Parang imposible naman yun. So, possibly, makaka-analyze ka dyan. Kung hindi ka man sigurado, at least meron kang 1 or 2 possibly suspect kung ano yung pinagbumulan ng problema ng computer. Okay? So, ayun, that's it guys. So, we have 8 steps to successful troubleshooting. If you want to review all of these 8, balikan lang po ninyo itong video na to para makita po ninyo kung ano po yung pagpapukusan po ninyo ng areas. Okay guys, that's all for now. Yun lang po muna yung topic natin for this meeting. See you again on our next meeting. Meron po tayong course outline. Pwede po ninyong balikan kung ano yung magiging next topic natin. Hopefully, marami po kayong naintindihan, marami po kayong natutunan sa ating first meeting. Again, thank you for listening, guys.